I guess you could say, um, uh, I had a sort of a rough life early on. Part of it that I brought on myself, part of it that I didn't. Um, but I had became sort of hardened toward God in that journey, and I questioned His existence. I questioned a lot of things. I had a lot of pain in my life. I began selling drugs. In fact, in the community where I have my ministry, I was a drug dealer for about 20 years. And so that was actually part of, I think, the draw now to the ministry is that a lot of the people knew my prior life, so they know that something shifted and something changed. So they're beginning to, when God, when He becomes the way I look at it, you're everything. People start to want Him to be their everything. They're like, man, there must be something to this thing. And anyway, I struggled for many, many years up until the point I was 35 years old. I actually ended up getting married, having children. But I also ran a gentleman's club, which was sort of hard to stay faithful, but I never really was faithful. I was just doing me. I was involved in a lot of things. By the time I was in my 20s, I had gotten covered and my whole body covered in tattoos. I had 4 tattoos removed. I had them on my face and had over 30 tattoos covered. I was not in pursuit of this person called Jesus, but he was always in pursuit of me. And in fact, I was running, driving down the street and on a drug run and took a wrong turn, which ended up being a right turn into a parking lot of a church where my life changed forever. And I know you sort of had tagged a little bit about the video on the 700 Club, sort of shares that story a little bit about that day, which was October the 17th, 2007. And when I pulled into that parking lot that day, I began a conversation with God. And, I was skeptical because I didn't know that I even believed that He was real, but yet I'm hearing His voice as real as I am talking right now. It was just, to me, there couldn't be nothing more real. And so we had this conversation, which has never ended. Actually, it's still going on today. We conversate every single day and talk. And but God began to tell me that He loved me, and that was new to me because I never really had encountered true love in my life. And so to hear love and to experience love that didn't treat me the way that I had heard or experienced before was a challenge for me, because I thought I knew love, but the love that I knew was counterfeit. It hurt. It didn't bring about the things that I have encountered with this love of God. And so as I was getting plugged into church, and like I said, it was not my intent was not to ever become a pastor or go to church or any of that. I was so hurt, but I believe that God has always been in pursuit of my life. And one of the things that I share often when I share my testimony is the fact that my mom was 17 when she gave birth to me, became pregnant with me. And what I tell people is that I did not know my biological father through my life, but the reality was I did. Come to find out, my mom was actually raped at the age of 17 by someone who was supposed to love her and protect her. It was her stepfather. And so the man that I've known the majority of my life as my grandfather was in fact my biological father, and he had raped my mother. And we had this pretty bad relationship growing up, and it would sort of explain that, knowing what I know now, because he really didn't want anything to do with me and was ashamed of me. But it's the power of that love that I met in that parking lot that I believe when you encounter love and love begins to transform you, it also begins to touch and transform others. And so at the age of 79, the night that I was ordained as a pastor, my grandfather gave his life to Christ. So I actually led the man to Christ who had raped my mother. And a couple of years ago, I did his funeral. He passed away. I had built a pretty amazing relationship with him over the years of just really allowing not only God to love me, but also allowing God to help me to love my grandfather. And so I'm happy today about those things. I am in the same area doing ministry where I once was part of the darkness. God now uses me as the light. Sort of odd to ever go back into those same areas. Not many get those opportunities that I have. And today we are seeing lives transformed because of a life being transformed, which I'm so thankful for. I have been in ministry now, like I said, for 11 years doing the garage ministry, and have ran a homeless shelter here locally for 10 years. And just really never would have thought I'd be doing the things I was doing. You know, at the time I was such a involved in the opposite thing. In fact, I learned now that the reason I put the tattoos on, and I was trying to create an identity. I didn't understand who I was or whose I was, but today I have that identity in Jesus Christ, and because of that identity, it's helping me to help others to step into their true identity as sons and daughters. And I'm so thankful for the love of the Father and the grace of the Father that pursues us. What an awesome gift and to learn that there's a gift of no condemnation in Christ Jesus. That now all my stuff that I once allowed to condemn me and hold me back, He had took on, and I no longer am condemned, but He took on all that punishment that I was guilty of. He took it on, and everything. He became all that I was so that I could become all that He is. And so for that, I'm so thankful. Yeah, just being able to share, coming on tonight and just sharing how God has moved in my life, and He's moved so many ways, opened doors. I actually have had jobs that I never would have thought would happen because I was a convicted felon at 18 years old, but God has opened more doors in 1 second than I could ever close in a lifetime. And that's an amazing thing to watch Him to continue to do what He does and open doors, and he continues to do that still in my life today. Being pardoned, I was pardoned by the governor, so now I have my rights back. But I was pardoned by God the day I pulled in that parking lot, and so I'm so thankful for that. So I've had just many opportunities to go back and share in the places and to just almost sometimes I feel like undeserving, but God said He said I was so deserving of His love, and that was new to me because I just never had encountered love like that. And the reason I didn't know how to love was because I had never encountered true love. But now today I'm able to love my wife, and all. I mean, it took me meeting the bridegroom to learn how to be a husband. It took me meeting the father to learn how to be a father, and meeting the friend of friends to learn how to be a friend. And so all my relationships are based around that one relationship I have that started October the 17th, 2007, and is still going strong today. So if nothing else, I can tell you that He is so real, and He wants to have conversation with us on a daily basis. So every day it's important for me to commune with Him, to have relations with Him. And I am just in awe of, in fact, the invitation. Anytime I get, I get so nervous because to me, it's life and death. It's real. It's serious. But to encounter love like that, like I said, I would have never been able to love anybody, much less the man that raped my mother, had I not encountered love. And so I'm just so thankful. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be on here tonight and sharing with y'all. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I'm sort of in a place that I was trying to find a place that got the best signal. I don't know that I'm in the best place, but I tried. This is I don't know if y'all heard everything or if I'm going in and out. Um, but
No, this is excellent. The signal
yeah,
was perfect.
yeah.
Thank
'Cause
you, Pastor Anthony.
normally, oh yeah, you're welcome. Normally the signal goes in and out. I've done some Zoom meetings, and it's always hard to get the signal to stay in.
Yes.
So I've been trying to
How
find the spot.
how can people look up your ministry? Can they go on Facebook? You have a Facebook page or
Yeah, so we have a Facebook page called the Garage Ministry, and you can go on there um, and find us on there. You could probably go and Google. Of course, you could see the video by going and Googling "Wrong Turn Straight to God." That was from the 700 Club. But yeah, we are on Facebook. I'm not the biggest on social media, although I did do videos over the last 2 years. I guess because of everything that's happened in the world, you sort of you use what you can use to reach people. So I've learned to use some videos and try to go online on Facebook Live or something like that, and encourage and inspire others. I work with a lot.
okay.
Uh, I work with a lot of people similar to me that come out of either incarceration or addiction or gangs, and so that's primarily one of the biggest part of my ministries is working with people that are broken, um, and so it's an
How
awesome opportunity. So yeah.
good, thank you. How can we be praying for you and your ministry?
Well, as of like I said, this week, in fact, Tuesday was officially my 11 year in the garage ministry. We are celebrating it this coming Tuesday because we just sort of always celebrate on the second Tuesday of every August, and because we do what we call family night, so men and women come. It originally started as a men's ministry, which has blossomed to so much more. But now we also do Sundays. So I think for me, the prayer is just keep us covered. Keep us covered in prayer. That the enemy does not like what we're doing, and we're exposing him for the counterfeit that he is, and we're helping people to uh, um, find their fathers. So for me, that's very important, and I know the enemy would love nothing more than to tear that down and divide. So ultimately, the best way to pray for me is to pray for my family, pray for the ministry that God would just continue to give us favor in areas that we've had favor over the last 11 years. I feel amazing. Last year happened to be one of our best years ever, and 21 has started off even greater. We're seeing lives transformed every single